HIV or human immunodeficiency virus targets the immune system. Given that our immune system is in charge of defending the body against infections, having a weak one makes the body less capable of overcoming or preventing known diseases. A specific type of white blood cell known as CD4 cell is the target of HIV. Then HIV hijacks this cell, converting them into factories where the virus multiplies by millions. HIV kills the CD4 cell each time it utilizes it to reproduce additional copies of itself. Because of this, when HIV is not treated, a person with HIV has a drop in CD4 cell count. This increases the risk of infection and weakens every aspect of the body, including the integumentary, respiratory, cardiovascular, digestive, and nervous system. HIV falls into a group of viruses called retroviruses. These viruses are challenging to get rid of because they integrate with the host cell's DNA as part of their life cycle. HIV life cycle is the process of which the HIV replicate itself. First, binding. HIV attaches to receptors on the cell surface of CD4 cells during the initial phase of its life cycle. Second, fusion. The virus enters the cell by fusing with the membrane of the CD4 cells. Third, reverse transcription. Reverse transcriptase, an enzyme released by the virus, is used to translate its RNA into DNA. This procedure enables the genetic material of the virus to enter the CD4 cell's nucleus. Fourth, integration. HIV releases another enzyme called integrase into the nucleus of your CD4 cell after converting its RNA into DNA. This enzyme is used by the virus to join its DNA to the DNA of your CD4 cell. Even with sensitive laboratory testing, the infection is now still considered as latent and difficult to identify. Fifth, replication. The CD4 cell's DNA has now been incorporated by HIV, allowing it to produce viral proteins using that cell's own machinery. These proteins are the building blocks for the new HIV viruses. They are produced in long chains. Sixth, assembly. HIV proteins are broken down into tiny fragments by a protease enzyme. A new virus is produced as the smaller protein fragments and copies of the HIV RNA join together. Seventh, budding. The original CD4 cell is pushed outward by the newly formed virus. Other CD4 cells now can be targeted by and infected by this fresh virus. HIV can affect anyone regardless of sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, gender, age, or where they live. But HIV can only be transmitted by coming into direct contact with certain body fluids from a person with HIV who has a detectable viral load. These fluids are blood, semen, rectal fluids, vaginal fluids, and breast milk. For transmission to occur, the HIV in these fluids must get into the bloodstream of an HIV-negative person through a mucous membrane, through open cuts or sores, or by direct injection. There are several symptoms of HIV, 3 stages of HIV, and some of the symptoms people may experience. First, within 2 to 4 weeks after infection with HIV, about 2/3 of people will have a flu-like illness. This is the body's natural response to HIV infection. Second stage is called chronic HIV infection. In this stage, the virus still multiplies but at very low levels. People in this stage may not feel sick or have any symptoms. Without HIV treatment, people can stay in this stage for 10 or 15 years, but some move through this stage faster. If you take HIV medicine exactly as prescribed and get and keep an undetectable viral load, You can live a long and healthy life and will not transmit HIV to your HIV negative partners through sex. But if your viral load is detectable, you can transmit HIV during this stage even when you have no symptoms. If you have HIV and you are not on HIV treatment, eventually the virus will weaken your body's immune system and you will progress to AIDS or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. This is the last stage of HIV infection. The symptoms are rapid weight loss, recurring fever or profuse night sweats, extreme and unexplained tiredness, prolonged swelling of the lymph glands in the armpits, groin, or neck, diarrhea that lasts for more than a week, sore throat of the mouth, anus, or genitals. Each of these symptoms can also be related to other illnesses. The only way to know for sure if you have HIV is to get tested. There's no vaccine to prevent HIV infection and no cure for HIV or AIDS, but you can protect yourself and others from infection. To reduce your risk of HIV, use condoms correctly every time you have sex. Use only sterile injections, equipment, and water, and never share your equipment with others. If you do not have HIV but at risk of getting HIV, talk to your healthcare provider about pre-exposure prophylaxis or PrEP. It involves taking a specific HIV medicine every day to reduce the risk of getting HIV through sex or injection drug use.